Welcome to Year 11's assembly on Disney. My earliest memories of Disney was watching the film Pinocchio, feeling sorry for lonely Geppetto, and watching the boy being led astray by various characters. I remember being sad at the certain parts of the film, but the darker side was overshadowed by the imagery and great characters.
In May 1922, Walt Disney incorporated Love-O-Gram Films with remaining assets from an original partnership with animator and producer Up Iwerks. Locke produced only 9 of the contracted 12 films and didn't generate much income, eventually going bankrupt. In October 1923, Walt and his brother Roy founded Disney Bros. Studio in LA, California. They produced a series of short live-action animated film called The Alice Comedies. But within 4 months, they moved next door to a larger space and sign Disney Bros. Studios was first hung. Walt's early partnership, Up Iwerks, joined the studio as well. In 1925, the brothers made a deposit on a Hyperion Avenue lot in LA. Construction of the new studio began not long after the lot was purchased. Mickey Mouse was born just 3 years after its initial purchase, in 1928. He was soon followed by Pluto, Goofy, Donald Duck, and the rest of the now well-known Disney characters.
Between 1941 and 1945, during World War II, Walt Disney was involved in the production of propaganda films for the US government. The widespread familiarity of Disney's production benefited the US government in producing pro-American war propaganda to increase support for the war.
In the modern day, Disney is known for the family movies such as Snow White, but a lot of these films are based from fairy tales, real stories, and legends from different cultures. Disney changed these stories to a more family-friendly version, and in the process destroyed the original story. These stories are now identified with the Disney stories. Stories like Mulan, where the Chinese win and stop the Huns, the Mongols, when in truth the Chinese lost and were conquered by the Mongols. Disney are responsible for the spread of misinformation.
Disney are known for having a lot of money and buying out a lot of companies. The main ones which you probably all know are Marvel Studios, Pixar, Lucasfilm and 20th Century Fox. They first acquired Pixar Animations in 2006 for $7.4 billion, which would be quite a lot of money, but it's nothing on what they've had to spend in recent years. They then bought Marvel 3 years later for $4 billion, and then another 3 years later they bought Lucasfilm for $4.05 billion. In 2019, they finalized the deal with 20th Century Fox, costing them $71.3 billion, quite a lot of money which they were able to just use. In particular, after that, Marvel and Lucasfilm, with Avengers Endgame and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, have seen some blockbuster films.
According to Statista.com, Disney grossed a whopping $69.57 billion in the fiscal year of 2019. That's a huge $10.14 billion increase on the previous fiscal year of 2018. That's 46.38 times the box office profit of Disney's highest grossing animated film, Frozen 2. That grossed $1.5 billion upon its box office release in November of 2019. As well as 24.86 times the box office profit of Disney's Avengers Endgame, which is the highest grossing film of all time when inflation is not accounted for. The film grossed a staggering $2.798 billion, overtaking Avatar's $2.79 billion 10-year reign by merely $80 million. Walt Disney Pictures have produced over 400 plus films since the first film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, was released in 1937. The film was actually nominated for an Academy Award for the Best Original Score in 1938.
History of Disney Channel, 1977 to 1983 origins. The idea of Disney Channel was initially thought of in 1977. However, it was turned down because Disney were already working on other things. This idea was then received in November 1981. Walt Disney then finally announced the release of its family-oriented cable channel in early 1983. 1983 to 1990, early years. The Disney Channel launched nationally as a premium on April 18, 1983. The first program aired on the channel was its original series, Good Morning Mickey, in 2002 to 2007 peak. By 2002, Disney Channel was available in 80 million cable homes nationwide. There was also some rebranding. The channel began to add viewers outside of the target demographic, for example, teenagers. 2016 to 2019, the return of animated series. On July 22, 2016, Disney premiered an animated series, Elena of Avalor, a spin-off of the Disney Junior series, Sophia the First, and the start of Andy Mack. 2017 would see several series finales and premieres for both Disney Channel's originals and acquired programs, Girl Meets World, Best Friends Whenever, and Liv and Maddie, all aired their final episodes during that year.
Disney Theatrical Productions Ltd., also known as Disney on Broadway, is a successful theatre company founded in 1993, which adapts popular Disney films to the stage. Their first production was Beauty and the Beast, which opened on Broadway in 1994, and was followed with an extremely successful adaptation of The Lion King, which opened in 1997 and remains to be one of the longest-running musicals on London's West End. Disney Theatrical Productions is now a major theatre company which have recently become very successful, joining up with Cameron Mackintosh to adapt productions such as Aladdin and Mary Poppins for the stage. A recent announcement was that the stage production of Frozen will be opening in London next year.
As with anything that gets as popular and as well known as Disney, conspiracy theories are bound to arise. Notably, one of the most common ones surrounding Disney is that Walt Disney himself had his head cryogenically frozen and is still alive, although only as a head. This idea became so well known that it's believed that the reason the film Frozen was named so was to prevent Disney Frozen Head appearing in Google autofill when Disney Frozen is searched into the search bar.
In recent years, Disney has been remaking some of their most iconic animated films into live-action movies. However, many argue about which version is better. Some say that animated films are better because they are classics. The original characters, storyline, and songs all come from the first animated film. For generations, many people have grown up side by side to these films. The characters were what formed our childhood dreams. With live action, it brings people to reminisce about the classics, as well as allowing them to compare. Each live action movie is adapted and has its own pros and cons and differences compared to the animation. Some movies have been created exactly as they were previously, while some have made their own twists. For example, in Maleficent, the live action recreation of Sleeping Beauty has allowed viewers to see from Maleficent's point of view. In the original film, Maleficent was mysterious and completely evil, whilst in the remake she is much more realistic and has her own story. It shows her pain and the betrayal she had behind her mask. Famous characters are also recreated by famous stars, as shown in this film. Angelina Jolie was clearly made for the role, and the powerful aura that radiates from her can be seen in the movie. Movies like Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast have really brought out the magic that Disney aims to spread. Famous scenes like the glass slipper and the ballroom dances have brought imagination to life. It joins the two worlds together and creates a sense of hope. Overall, the live-action films got lower ratings than their animated versions, which goes to show that sometimes the original is better. But who's to say that they don't want more magic?
Our greatest natural resource is the minds of our children. This is my chosen Walt Disney quote. I haven't got a favourite Disney quote, but as a teacher for many years, I like this one.